Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about the lifelong, ever continuous nature of a mindfulness practice. And sometimes we can have this attitude that when we're in self-improvement mode or learning mode, that one day we'll go through the process, we'll learn what we need to do, and then we will arrive. Like, we'll have gotten there, we have everything we need to know, we've fixed everything we wanted to fix, everything's in place like we hoped, and we'll just feel this way forever. So we got it all aligned, and now it'll just stay with us like this until the end. And how opposite this is of the true nature and spirit of mindfulness. And every time that I'm walking clients through their mindful journey, I talk about how it's ever changing, ever evolving, and that it is a whole lifelong journey. So there's no final goal, there's no destination, there's no little checklist that we say, once I solve this, and this, mindfulness has given me what I wanted it to give me, and I've arrived, that's it. I've completed my process in the work. And that the true nature of it is that it's not a destination, or it's not an expectation of what we're going to experience in life. It's this presence, this awareness, this mindfulness, the ability to observe life and learn from it and develop an understanding through everything that we go through. It continues to evolve and deepen as our life continues to evolve and change, and new obstacles or challenges come up, and mindfulness works in with all of that. It supports us through it all, it morphs through it all, and shows up for us in different ways through everything that we're going through, and helps us to continue to become more and more our authentic, healed, grounded, true heart-centered selves along this whole ever-changing journey. So it's never a feeling like I've arrived, everything's resolved. It's more of like I'm carrying this companion with me on every leg of this journey. I'm developing and growing this companion, this wisdom, this depth in each stage that I'm in. And I often talk about this in the mindful consumption portion of my intro to mindfulness, is that there's never, when we're thinking, well, how should I live? Like, what should I consume? What should I eat? What should I engage with in life that is mindful? And I always say, the beauty of this practice is that there's no prescribed right answer. Like, I can't hand you a sheet of paper that says, here's the checklist for your mindful practice, and here's all the things that would make you a mindful person, and once you get this, you're there. And in that mindful consumption class, it's like, I wouldn't hand you a diet, a mindful diet, or a mindful regime for your daily life on what to listen to, what to watch, what not to, what to eat, what not. Because it's never the same. It's never the same for every two people, and it's never the same through the whole expanse of our lives. That the beauty of mindfulness is it helps us to be flexible, to work with the flow of life, to work with where we're at in each stage, and to be able to change the way that we're engaging with life, that we're interacting, connecting, consuming, that keeps us aligned, healthy, well, and balanced in that situation. So life is never stagnant, right? Which means our way of being healthy in life is never stagnant. So mindfulness allows us to be very open in how we're being healthy, how we're staying aligned. So we may feel, we may use our mindfulness practice like we have this big change in our lives and we want to learn how to, we feel like it threw us off alignment. Everything kind of went out of place. So we use the mindfulness in this open, curious way to observe in this situation, what am I needing? What changed? What feels good? What doesn't? What are the things that keep me aligned here? What are the things that make it more difficult here? What are my tools, my resources available in this situation? And we build that in that moment. But when we say, okay, well, you build it for that situation, but guaranteed life is going to throw you some new curveball, maybe the next day, maybe the next month, the next year. And everything's up in the air and different again. So if you had this stagnant little practice that you learned and said, all right, I checked all the boxes, I'm done. If that remains unchanging and now every situation in your life has changed again, that practice won't apply and it won't be useful anymore. And you'd be floundering like, well, now what else do I use? The beauty of mindfulness is that it's not that way. You don't ever put it in a box and say, here's my, I've worked out that in my practice, 10 minutes of meditation in the morning works, and then I do my mindful walk, or I use my mindful presence when I'm cooking. And that's that, for the rest of my life. That's not it at all. It says you're always observing. You say, maybe that works today, but now when all of this changes, my life is thrown up in the air, I haven't lost anything in my mindfulness practice. It won't all of a sudden not be applicable to where I'm at. It is still there because it's this curiosity, this observation, this deep connection with your internal and external experience, so that you're using this wisdom, this insight to consistently ask yourself, what works now? What's going to take care of me now? Where am I emotionally, physically, mentally now? And what can I do to meet those needs, to stay aligned with my values, so that I'm well in this situation, so that I'm taken care of here? And this sometimes can feel a little daunting because people like to feel like, all right, I wrap it all up, I find the perfect place to live, the perfect situation, my mindfulness practice is in place, and I'm set. Yeah, that would be nice, but if we've lived long enough, all of us know that never stays the same very long. We start questioning again. Maybe we have to make a move, we have to change a job. And this being flexible with mindfulness, understanding the ever-evolving but still useful and still applicable practice of mindfulness, gives us this consistent stability no matter what's happening in our lives around us. It says, because my practice can flow and change with life, so can I. And I feel very confident, trusting, secure in the fact that I still have this thing that will 100% support me and keep me well, even as these things change in my life. So it leaves us a little more open, a little more flexible, less afraid of all the crazy curves and turns and ups and downs that life can take. And it also keeps us very realistic about the fact that things are always changing, and you won't ever just arrive in, I mean, maybe for a moment, but it's okay that life is a little bit of a constant journey, a constant seeking of balance, a constant coming out of balance and back in, a constant getting a little lost and wandering and then finding a way, a constant wow, big struggle and then coming back in. So that's okay in this practice. And the more you build your mindfulness, the more you understand it in this way, the healthier you'll feel, the more at peace, the more at ease, the more trusting. And that's the beautiful thing of the mindful journey, the lifelong mindful journey. I am offering another intro series through the Rec Center. It will begin on January 13th. You can register through their website for that. And I'm still working on getting this book out. The self-publishing process, it took a little longer this time, so keep waiting. It's coming, that book on Disentangled, freeing ourselves from emotional abuse. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.